United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Tell me who in this house know about the quake? I mean, really? Really? If you know how to rock, say yeah. Yeah. If you know how to party, say oh yeah. Oh yeah. But if you ain't hip to the rare house quake, shut up already. Damn. House quake. Everybody jump up and down. House quake. Oh, there's a brand new groove going round. In your funky town. And the kick drum is the fault. You gotta rock this mother set. We gotta rock this mother set. We're gonna show you what to do. You put your foot down on the two. You jump up on the one. Now you're having fun. You're doing the house quake. Hey.
That's Prince. I'm Tavis, Smiley, and Karine Jean-Pierre has seen more than a few house quakes inside the White House. Two conversations in this hour. On the B-side, Jason George, who plays Dr. Ben Warren on the long-running TV series Grey's Anatomy, previews their 22nd season. I'm mad at Shonda Rhimes. 22 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. We'll talk to Jason George on the backside of this hour. But we commenced this hour in conversation with Joe Biden's history-making White House Press Secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, on her new book, which publishes today. How blessed are we to have her on this program the day the book drops. It's called Independent, a look inside a broken White House, outside the party lines. Madam Press Secretary, how are you today?
Hello, Tavis. Thank you so much for having me. It's a big day. Pump day.
It is a big day.
I'm trying to stay pumped up.
I know you're doing.
For having me.
I know they're after you today with all kinds of interview requests. So no, you ain't got to thank me. I want to thank you for choosing us as one of the outlets to talk to today.
Of course.
So tell me, how does it feel having gone through all you've gone through, and then the writing of the book to actually push this thing out today? How you feeling, first of all?
It feels so good. It's hard to take it all in because there's lack of sleep and constant moving. And somebody this morning said, "Happy Pub Day." And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Because I've been doing this for the past 24 hours.
Yeah.
But it feels really good for it to be out in the world. And now I can speak to this book myself without anybody speaking for me. And so that piece and that part of it is real. And I'm already starting to hear from people who are listening to the book, who have purchased the book, and they're like, thank you for speaking for me. This is how I was feeling. We got you, we have your back. So all of those things. And also young people.
Yeah.
I've seen young people the last 2 days, and they've heard me speak about the book, and they're like, wow, this is how we're feeling right now. And so this book is certainly trying to meet the moment, and also how to give kind of a pathway and a roadmap for folks who want to continue to stay engaged. Yeah. And we need everyone in this moment to be engaged.
Yeah. I assume you read the audiobook yourself?
Yes, it's my voice. If folks are interested.
No. We've heard your voice so much. We've heard it so much. We're used to it at this point. So that's not a shocker. But I only asked that because very quickly, I've done this a few times myself, as you know, in my career, a number of books I've done. So when you write a book like this, where you have so many revelations, we'll get into some of that in just a second here. When there are so many revelations in a book like this, and you've been itching to get this out. And you're sitting and you're reading now what you have written, it hits you differently. You feel it. You hear it. It's coming back.
1,000%.
You take my point. It's coming back at you. So take me back to the moment where what you had written, you are now reading, and it's coming back to you.
So, Tabs, I love this question because I don't think people understand the audio book experience. I think it's great that we do our voices, and it's a way to connect with the reader, on our book, our story. And so it's such an important forum, but it is very difficult because you're reading and you're like, oh my gosh, Oh yeah, yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because you got to do it a certain way. You have to be in this booth for many many hours.
Mm-hmm.
But there were parts of it that I write some stuff in there that's incredibly emotional and personal to me,
Sure.
and I got emotional. If anybody gets the audiobook, you will hear my voice crack.
Mm-hmm.
You will hear me get emotional. I think I was like in tears for some parts of it because you're reliving, sometimes depending what the book is, you're reliving trauma, you're
Sure.
reliving a moment that was incredibly difficult. Even if it's not your moment, it could be something that happened to somebody else, or that's something that happened in the world, and now you're feeling it very deeply. And so I think audiobooks are just really, the audio version of the book is also is always very hard to do
Yeah.
just in general. But then when it's your story and there's passion and there's so much of you in it, it
Yeah.
could be emotional.
Yep. There's a lot in this book. It's called Independent. A look inside a broken White House outside the party lines. The title says it all. I can't do justice to this in a 30-minute conversation with Karine Jean-Pierre, but I'm going to do my best to top line some of this for you. You'll want to get it anyway, but when you hear some of the stuff in it, you really going to want to read it. We'll get that part started when we come forward here on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure. Now 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Karine Jean-Pierre, the history-making White House press secretary for Joe Biden. The book is called Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines. Let's make the most of the time. that we have with Karine Jean-Pierre. I think I want to start with this. I want to focus most of my conversation on the independent part. There's a lot in this book that I think is going to contribute to our understanding of the Biden presidency, for that matter, the Harris candidacy, and for that matter, the Trump phenomenon. A lot in this book about all of that. But since I'm a black man talking to a black woman, it's this independent thing. This decision that Corinne made to become an independent that resonates with me, and I want to sort of probe that. Before I do any of that, though, let me just ask. So much was written and said, of course, and I was jubilant, as you know. I couldn't wait to see you and give you a hug inside the White House. I was honored to do so, but I was just so thrilled at the decision to make you the press secretary. It was history making on a number of different fronts. A lot said and written about that, but how did you process that history making opportunity at the outset?
So it was, I have to tell you, being White House press secretary, it was an honor and a privilege of a lifetime. And I would do it all over again because it is a job, obviously, where you're speaking for the most powerful person in the world on behalf, not just the administration, but on the behalf of the American people. And it was every day I was in awe that I had an office in the West Wing, that I was able to go into the Oval Office as this, I think about me being this young black girl coming up in a working class community. My dad was a New York City cab driver. My mom was a home health care aide, and here I was representing this president. And I have to say, President Biden is the one who made that decision. And I would not have been White House press secretary if it wasn't for him making that decision. I really want people to understand that.
Yeah.
He saw something in me and understood that I was the person that he wanted representing his voice. That's huge. That's really, really important. And so, I knew every time I stood at that podium behind that lectern, I knew that I was representing all of the communities that I carry with me. And it was important not just to make the president proud and make sure I was, really informing people of his views and his policies, but also I knew that I was speaking for these communities that saw me every day, whether 20 seconds on their TVs at night or online, right? So it was an honor, truly, truly an honor. And I am the longest serving female White House press secretary. And that the reason why is I wanted to make sure that I did my job each and every day and do it as long as I can, because it was important. It was important to communicate what we were trying to do for this country.
That's why I said history making on a number of different fronts, including the longest serving female press secretary. A quick question here, since you went there. We all know that Joe Biden is not president. He said this to us repeatedly. To his credit, he would not have been president had it not been for black people, black women in particular. He put a lot of black women in high positions. Kamala Harris, KBJ, the list goes on and on and on. How do you think history, in that regard, is going to regard Joe Biden on the race question? And I recognize that symbolism is not substance. I ain't got time for that debate. But on the race question, how do you think history is going to regard Joe Biden?
I think we have not just symbolism, but substance.
Okay.
Everything that we did, everything on the economy, on healthcare, anything that we were covering to make sure that we move the needle forward for the American people had equity at the center of it. Equity at the center of it. Even voting rights on the federal level, that was something that he attacked very early on the first week of his administration. He wanted to make sure no communities were left behind. If you look at small businesses, I think more than 20 million small businesses were created. A lot of them were Black owned small businesses. When you look at healthcare and extending healthcare, making sure people could be able to afford healthcare, that helped the African American, the Black community. When you think about COVID, and this is really important, I know people don't want to talk about COVID, but when we came in to attack COVID, one of the things that the president was concerned about is, okay, we're going to get these vaccines and they're not going to be evenly distributed to communities that also need it. Because he understood in order to get out of COVID, you got to go into the Black community, you got to go into the brown community, you got to go into every community to make sure they have access to this. So, like I said, everything was done with the lens of equity and trying to build wealth. Trying to build wealth. And we did that for Black farmers. I mean, you name it. you name it. We looked at everything with a wide scope. And so that were the efforts. Student loans,
Hmm.
right? I mean, I can go on and on and on. And so, and and you know, and actually visually seeing Ketanji Brown Jackson as the first Black woman on the Supreme Court, that was major. I mean, that really infused like our hopes and dreams for ourselves and our children.
No question.
And so these things really mattered. And here's and I say this, like, he didn't have to appoint me as White House press secretary. He really didn't.
Yeah.
But he did. He did, and it was important for him to
Mhm.
have done that.
And despite all that list that you that abbreviated list, to your point, you could go on and on and on. So despite that abbreviated list, you have decided to become an independent. And in this book, you spend a great deal of time, to my read, sharing why the rest of us ought to start stepping or certainly looking beyond party lines and embrace this notion of what it means to be an independent. So my obvious question is why?
So, a couple of things. It's very nuanced, right? Because
Right.
I'm not talking about an independent party. I'm talking about being an independent thinker and not being just only connected to one of the party systems, because I believe the party system right now as it's functioning is actually not functioning. It's broken.
Mhm.
The two-party system is broken. We know what's going on with the Republican Party. They've completely lost their minds
Mhm.
and are following a criminal down this rabbit hole that is absolutely hurting each and every one of us. And the Democratic Party, I feel, is not fighting for us. They're saying, hey, you know what, we have to maybe not, support this group when they're not speaking loud enough about migrants and immigrants. It is sad to see, because right now we are living in a moment where they can't act like it's normal times. They need to be an opposition party. They need to act as if, hey, you know what? We're going to show some grit, we're going to show some teeth, and we're going to bring everybody in, every vulnerable community, and fight for them. And I do feel that in large part, they've taken Black women for granted. They've taken other communities. I'm also part of the LGBTQ community. They've taken
Mhm.
the LGBTQ community for granted. I think they are not fighting hard enough for immigrants and migrants. I mean, there's things that they're doing, and they're saying, you know what? We're not going to believe in that issue because it's not politically savvy for them in this short term.
Yeah.
And we have to fight with a moral compass. And you know this, Tavis, during the civil rights movement and the human rights movement, there were things out there, examples of things that were not popular at the time, but
Mhm.
doesn't mean you throw people away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there is a disappointment that I see in this moment, in this very, very moment, that I believe we have to talk about in order to get out of the situation that we see ourselves in 2025. And there are millions of people in the independent party, and they even, some of them can't even really exercise their right in the process because there's close primaries.
Yeah.
If you're saying to me there are independents who see that the Democrats don't speak for them, nor the Republicans speak for them, but then they're independent, and you're not trying to fix the system to see how can they be able to participate in the system, then the system is broken. And the bigger point of this too is that the system shouldn't be about parties. It should be about people. So how do we try to create people power in this moment? Take it out of the White House and give it to the people. And that's why the 7 million people that showed up
Yeah.
on Saturday for the No Kings rally was heartwarming to see. Because if you think about the first one, the second No Kings rally, it's only grown by millions. I mean, it
Yeah.
has grown by millions, which is huge.
Yep.
And so I think that we have to continue to stand up for each other, because if they come after one of us, they're going to come after all of us.
Yep. So here's my question. You and I could not agree more that the two-party system is broken. No question about that. I just said earlier in our program today that, to my mind, Washington these days is bought and bossed by big money and big business. So this two-party system is broken. No question about it. I guess the question is, how then, inside of that broken system, because we still got to work inside these party lines, how then inside that broken system do we go about voting our values? Does that make sense to you?
I mean, look, you can vote your values. You can still very much vote your values. What I'm saying is to hold these leaders to account.
Hmm.
You got to make sure they don't leave us behind, and you got to push them. And so this book truly as well is a way to start a conversation, because this book has started a conversation. So
Hmm.
that's really important.
Yeah.
And people have asked me why and what can they do and how does this look like? And the book does have a roadmap for people who are trying to figure out how to get engaged.
Yeah.
But it means really truly holding people to account. Like, I am tired, seeing a stern written letter from Democratic leadership. We don't need stern written letters.
Hmm.
Why are we rubber stamping, Trump appointees? Why? Why they shouldn't have voted for one of them? Because Project 2025 showed us very clearly more than a year ago, what they were going to do in their first 10 months, in their first 4 months, in their first 3 months. They were very clear, and they're rubber stamping appointees.
Yeah.
This is not business as usual. This is not business as usual. We need to be fighting this. Look where we are, and we're what, 9, 10 months in?
Yeah.
Look where we are.
Yeah. You mentioned you said something earlier that sort of teed this up for me. So in this particular moment, I am thinking about Kamala Harris's book, which many people saw as going in on the Democratic Party, going in on the Biden White House. First, you get the first K, Kamala, then the second K, Karine shows up with her book, and people can read it as going in on politics as usual. Not suggest that you shouldn't be doing that, but when it, how do we read the fact that you have two high-profile black women who were inside the Biden White House who are going in?
Look, I think it says a lot about the party more broadly. Look, I I respect the vice president. I'm glad that she wrote her book, and we should be learning from her book. And it's important for her to tell her story. She was a leader during a really critical part of our history last year, and she did a phenomenal job being on the top of the ticket. And I applaud her for that. And I think her story, while they parallel, we our stories are unique to ourselves in many ways, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so my story obviously is something that I experienced that was really brokenhearted to me, detrimental to I think the party itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have, like you just stated, when you have two women of color, black women, African American women, who were in the White House who felt as if they weren't supported, then that's a problem for the Democratic Party. That
Mm-hmm.
is, because at the end of the day, we felt, like, I feel, again, just talking to myself,
Sure.
for myself, I felt that there m- the group that I belong to, right, the black women group, who are usually the backbone of the party, at the front, on the front lines, fighting issues for not just themselves, for everybody else, large part get taken for granted.
Yeah.
And to me, that is a problem. Look, millions of people showed up in 2020 to vote for Biden Harris. Those millions of people didn't, there are millions, those millions of people did not show up for 2024. There's a problem. There is a fundamental problem that is happening. Yes, with the Republican Party, yes, we got to protect our democracy. But in order to protect our democracy, the Democrats have to look under the hood, kick the
Yeah.
tires, and say what is going on here. And some of the rhetoric that I've heard the last couple of months about who they're going to protect and who they're not going to protect is problematic to me.
You don't you don't
That's
you
why
don't you don't you don't agree with their standing up for healthcare right now and protecting those persons?
no.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I actually think what they're doing right now is really great.
Got it.
Stand up for healthcare.
Got it.
I am happy and glad, because we're headed to a healthcare crisis.
Yeah.
And many people are going to have to decide, do they pay this really hiked up premium, or do they put food on the table?
Exactly.
That's scary.
Yep.
That's really truly scary. So I applaud them.
Okay.
I applaud it. Like, I will criticize and lay out the things that I see that need to be fixed, but I also will
Sure.
lift up and applaud the work that they're doing in this moment. especially with the shutdown. And let me also be clear here, Tab, because it matters. There are many people who are suffering right now because there is a shutdown, whether it's our seniors, our veterans, and government workers who need that check to take care of their family. So I also want to not take light in the moment of people who are truly suffering and trying to figure out how to manage day to day.
I got less than 3 minutes left here. You got a full schedule today. It's pub day, so I want to make the most of these last 3 minutes here. I think I want to close on this note. Again, less than 3 minutes here, so it's tight. There's a lot in the book about this, and people are going to be anxious to read this, but I wonder in this conversation very quickly if you can just say a word about your state of mind, about your role in the weeks that led up to Joe Biden's abandonment of this bid for the second term.
Yeah, I tell the 3 weeks, what I was going through the 3 weeks from the debate to the time that he decided to pass the baton to Vice President Kamala Harris, which I think was a proud moment for all of us. And honestly, when he made that decision, the right thing to do. But what was happening in those 3 weeks and the way he was treated by leadership of the Democratic Party was heartbreaking. And I want people to understand I was in a particular interesting place because I was the White House press secretary, and watching and seeing and having to speak to how members of the Democratic Party were treating him. And I had never seen anything like that in my life. And this is a man who had more than 50 years of experience, who objectively had a good couple of years in the administration. I just listed out, a few, as you say, an abbreviated list of what he did. And he didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve to be treated like that. This is not how you treat people. And this is coming from the Democratic Party, not the Republican Party, the Democratic Party. And that is something that I will never forget. And obviously I talk about in the book, but kind of starts this conversation about the party, starts the conversation about where we are today, and what needs to happen. And I really, truly believe the Democratic Party in this moment needs to be the opposition party.
She has indeed started a conversation with just the title of the text alone. It's called Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines. I said earlier, no way you can do justice to a book with this much in it in 30 minutes, but there's a taste of what you're going to get when you read the book, Independent, again, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines by the history-making White House press secretary of the Joe Biden administration, Karine Jean-Pierre. I wanted to read this book, and I encourage all of you to read it because she was in such a unique place as a black woman that her view and her vantage point is occupying the space that we never have access to. And so there are a lot of books written, and I encourage you to read all of them. But this one, I definitely encourage you to read because her position is so unique inside the White House. Her view, as I said, her vantage point is one that I take seriously, and I think you will too when you read the book. It's called Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party lines. It is out today. Karine, congratulations, and thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you, Tavis. Always, always a pleasure. Thank you.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Early voting is underway in Texas, where one ballot measure would amend the state constitution to require voters be U.S. citizens. State Senator Brian Birdwell.
Texas has statutory citizenship requirements for voting in Texas elections, but statutory is not constitutional.
Supporters say it locks in the rule for the future, while critics call it redundant since non-citizen voting is already illegal. In Michigan, DTE Energy is upgrading Detroit's electric grid with smart devices, infrastructure rebuilds, and tree trimming. The goal is to cut outages by 30% and have outage times by 2029. And a new affordable housing complex has opened on Chicago's west side. The Avenue Apartments on Chicago Avenue near Austin offer 1- and 2-bedroom units for $1,400 to $1,600 a month. Residents begin moving in mid-November. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers will play the Toronto Blue Jays in the World Series. Toronto beat Seattle 4-3 Monday night to win a decisive Game 7 in the American League Championship Series. Toronto had a better regular season record than the Dodgers by 1 game, so they will have home field advantage. Games 1 and 2 will be Friday and Saturday night in Toronto. The NBA regular season tips off tonight. The Lakers are at home tonight against Golden State. For the first time in LeBron's 23-year career, he will not be playing in a regular season opener. LeBron, who turns 41 in December, will be sidelined at least 3 to 4 weeks with a sciatic nerve injury. In each of LeBron's 7 seasons with the Lakers, he has played an average of 59 games. LeBron has not played all 82 games in a regular season since the 2017-18 season when he was with Cleveland. LeBron was 33 at the time. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
And I'm glad about it. What a great conversation with Karine Jean-Pierre. Thank her for the opportunity to talk to her on the day her book drops. Once again, it's called Independent, A Look Inside a Broken White House Outside the Party Lines. And I should mention, I just saw this. Where is this at? Right quick. Forgive me. I got to find it. If you are in, there it is. If you're in Southern California, she's on tour all across the country for this book. Again, the book's out today, but Saturday, November the 1st, 7:30, she's at the Renberg Theater here in L.A. So if you're in Southern California, she's going to be here in L.A. on Saturday, slow down, Tavis. Saturday, November 1st at 7:30, she's at the Renberg Theater signing copies of her book and doing a lecture if you want to meet Karine Jean-Pierre. Again, Saturday, the 1st of November, 7:30, Renberg Theater. I want to mention that right quick. All right, a conversation in a moment here with Jason George, who plays Dr. Ben Warren on the long-running series Grey's Anatomy, a preview of their 22nd season. And I hope he'll talk a little bit about his real-life fight against gun violence. I said earlier today, I ain't mad at Shonda Rhimes. 22 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. Take a listen.
What was that?
Oh my God!
Out of my way!
You think that I should still love you? I'll tell you that.
I heard the blessers at OR too. I'm not going anywhere until I find Miranda.
Can't let you in. Fire department's orders.
Clinic's open.
The fire chief says he still doesn't know the extent of the damage. Fatalities.
Link's not answering his phone. Where is he?
Oh my God.
Jason George, good to have you on. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How you feeling?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I'm doing all right, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you for a few moments here. Let me just start with this. You've been at this a long time, and I've been at what I do for a long time, and this number, 22, is just mind-boggling. There are so few shows in the history of television that get anywhere near that number. Say a word about that for starters.
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's like it's in industry, in television industry terms, it's like getting to Mars or Jupiter or something like that. It's not done. I mean, there's like literally you can count on one hand the number of scripted live action shows that are longer than that. And we might still catch them because we ain't done yet.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing to be involved in it.
Yeah. How do you stretch something this long when it comes to storyline that doesn't sound repetitive, that still pulls in viewers? I mean, obviously the writers get a lot of credit for this, but when you have these characters week in and week out, and you're trying to write a storyline that continues to resonate 22 seasons in, that's a tall order, is it not?
Oh, it's climbing Mount Everest every year to like find a way to make it new and fresh. But as you already mentioned, it's on the writers first and foremost. I mean, Shonda Rhimes set the foundation.
Yeah.
Meg Marinus is our current showrunner, and she's been with the show since day one. She's been one of the writers, I think, since second season.
Mm-hmm.
She is like an encyclopedia of all knowledge, Grey's Anatomy. It's pretty amazing, and she's a phenomenal writer. And the key to both, I think, Shonda's success, Meg's success, and a lot of us with the show is that they never forgot what it was to be a fan.
Right.
You know what I mean? To be excited. So I'm excited to read the script. I personally don't read the scripts before we sit down to do the table reads every week for the next episode, because that's where I get to just be a fan and enjoy the story. And then I go in and do my actor work and break it down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they remember what it is to be a fan. And the other part is, as much as they love being fans of the show that they work on, and they love the fans that love this show, they're not afraid to do unpopular stuff. Because in order to keep it fresh, you've got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all watched that show where the star of the show is, in a tough spot. It looks like they're going to die. And you're like, well, how are they going to get him out of this one? But they're going to get him out of this one because they can't die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then the show will be done. People die on our show all the time. Anybody who just saw that, which is almost painful as an actor to say, because we always want, you want to keep a job, right?
Yeah,
you want to stay employed.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what you really want is to tell the best story.
Right.
And if you know that the stakes are always high, and that they can bring in new characters, like we've got this wave of interns right now who are now in their second year of the program, and you see echoes of what happened with the very first interns when Meredith Grey was an intern.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see some things that feel familiar, because every year, and this is what I love about the show, is it's so relatable to many people's lives. They're new freshmen in high school every year.
Oh yeah.
They're new freshmen in college every year. Somebody's starting a new job, whether it be at 22 or 42, somebody's starting a new job someplace. And when you watch this show, you see somebody going through that thing you're going through, where you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose of information. You feel like you're failing all the time. You feel like you're can I find my people? Can I get somebody to support me at work? You know what I mean? And then can I find some love in the process? So all that, I think, is what they figured out. The formula is keep the stakes high, keep it relatable to real people's lives.
I was laughing when you said earlier that on our show, people die. People die on this show.
Not a game. Not a game.
No, that is true, but I was laughing because, as you well know, you've had this a long time, typically when we see stories, it's the black man that dies first. So I was laughing at that because when the black man typically dies first, that's not been your fate. Dr. Ben Warren has been on the show for some time, which leads me to ask what you make of your particular story arc in Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, look, not all the wit on that. But I was supposed to come on for like 3 or 4 episodes.
Right.
I had done a pilot for Shonda that didn't go. And while they were waiting to find out if it went, they said, you want to come do 3 or 4 episodes? And one of Shonda's superpowers, and she has many, is she can look at something that wasn't the plan and realize that's the real plan. You know what I mean? It's like you can hear that whisper in your ear of some divine power going, roll with that. And I think she saw something in me and Chandra Wilson, who plays Miranda Bailey on the show. One of my favorite people in the world, an amazing actress, very fine director, just super good people. And she saw us together and we clicked. And it's one of the blessings for me as an actor is to get to do that banter. It's like I'm trying to think of, look, people don't know dancing duos that it's like the Hines brothers, or I'm trying to think of like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, right?
Yep.
I'd be Ginger Rogers in this scenario. She's Fred. The dance we do together looks effortless, looks flawless, but we put in a lot of work individually and then together, and it's just greater than the sum of its parts. You know what I mean? I'm better when I'm with her. I like to think I try and make her better. And so, I think Shonda saw that, and that, I think, is the foundation. Because I'm genuinely one of the proudest things in my career. I've had a long career. I've been blessed, is that I am one half of, if not one of the longest standing black couples in television.
Nope.
And that they're both headstrong, they're both powerful individuals, they're, talented and super talented in their fields, all those positive attributes. They have their problems, they have their failings, they're not perfect people.
Sure.
And each of them can get a little crazy at times in various ways, but they're perfect for each other and make it work. And that, putting that example out in the world for me is one of those things where I'll be like, when I meet my maker, I'm gonna be proud that that's on the tombstone.
Yep. So the flip side, which we'll let Jason talk about when we come forward here in just a second, the flip side of a show running 22 seasons and you're being on it, I think Jason's been on 15 seasons, I think now. The flip side of the blessing of having a job for 15 consecutive years is the concern that some actors have about being typecast. Indeed, there are actors who will step away from a show after a number of years. Blessed though they may be to have it, they'll step away because they don't want to be typecast. I wonder if Jason has thoughts about that while he's taking his paycheck for 15 consecutive seasons. We'll talk about that and a great deal more. Jason George, one of the stars of Grey's Anatomy, now in their 22nd season. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley with a final word here about the upcoming Left Coast Forum on Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. As you know by now, our major keynoters include Professor Richard Wolff and Dr. Cornel West. LA Mayor Karen Bass will be there as well. But listen to some of these plenaries: fighting for black students and educational equity, resilience under Trumpism, how to stay sane under fascism, the battle for democracy, what's at stake in 2026, healthcare under attack, fighting Trump's cuts, and building patient power. From seed to system, building a local food economy in South LA. Theater as a force for change. Voices from Palestine. The Constitution is not self-reinforcing. Racism on the left. Building communities of care, federal changes and their impact on healthcare in LA County. Committee for the First Amendment and more. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. That's KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Jason George is always fascinating to me, man, because if I'm an actor, I am not. I don't play one on TV or radio. But if I were an actor, and I were blessed to be on a show as good as Grey's Anatomy, that had been running for 22 seasons, and the producer of that show, the showrunner, thought I was good enough to not get killed off early on as a black man, and to be on this set for 15 consecutive seasons. I don't know that typecasting would be top of mind for me. I'd be grateful for the opportunity. And yet, when you are in something for as long as you've been in this character, Dr. Ben Warren on Grey's Anatomy, does that ever occur to you?
Look, does it occur to me or does it occur to actors in general?
yeah. There you go.
No, I mean, look, it's people become actors because you want roles that challenge you.
Sure.
Right. You want to play roles that challenge you, and so because they spun my character off to do another show, Station 19. We did 7 seasons of that, which in the normal world is considered a very successful run. But when your big sister's 22 seasons in, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But when that ended, I thought I was going back out in the world, and there was the dad in me, the provider in me was, a paycheck's going away. Okay, sure. I guess we got to go sing for our supper again. We got to go out and do the do. But the actor in me was excited about looking for new challenges. But then I had a conversation with Meg Marinus, and she broke down, we've got great story ideas for Ben in the future. And I thought, well, if there's still good reasons to do, there's still story to be told.
Yeah.
Let's keep running. You know what I mean? And let's roll with it. I mean, there's a dude I knew I do a lot of work with SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Union. I'm on the national board. And this one particular actor who I disagree with on virtually everything else involved in the entertainment industry said this one thing that I've held on to and shared with a lot of other actors. He said, role, people, billing, money. Those are the 4 reasons why any actor does any job. And I might even add in the idea of cash.
Give me those 4 again, Jason.
So role, right? I'll
roll.
play a fellow on the street corner because I just want to try playing a fellow. I want to see if I can do it, right?
Okay.
You're chasing the role.
Right.
The people. I'll be guy number 2 for Spike Lee or Martin Scorsese. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't even got to give me a line. Just let me be on set and hang out with you. I want to meet the people and work with those people. Billing. You work to get your first co-star role, your first guest star role, your first series regular until you finally above the marquee. Jason George is above the law.
Yeah.
That's a go, and then money. And money should be in my mind for an actor's actor, money's the last reason why you're doing a job. It's a real reason and it's an important reason, but it's the last reason. And then there's cachet. Like sometimes you might do a civil rights film because you want to be part of that conversation.
Sure.
You want, it's just like people will write books so that they can be in that conversation. So if you know why you're doing the job, then you know when you're ready to leave a job. You know, if you're like, look, the story was great. There's no more story. We're just rehashing the same old stuff. There's, you know, I've met all the people I'm going to meet. You know what? I've proven that I'm the lead of a show. I'm a series regular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I'm just here for money.
Yeah.
Well, how much money you need?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
And that's real. I mean, look, it's a blessing to be able to say it, but at a certain point in time, you may have enough money where you're like, look, I'm good. So now I'm just going to go chase stuff that excites me and try and make some money in the process. I mean, ain't nobody trying to make no money, but you know, so it's that balance, I think, is the way to look at it as an artist.
You broke it down, man. I've never heard it quite put that way, but you broke that thing down. And I was scribbling notes as you were breaking it down about those four things. Then you added cachet. I'll take the fifth as well. Our remaining moments with Jason George, one of the stars of Grey's Anatomy, now in his 22nd season. You're listening, and I'm glad about it, to Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-237-8585. That's 800-237-8585. Again, that's 800-237-8585.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Jason George, one of the stars of Grey's Anatomy, plays Dr. Ben Warren. Of course, you know that. He's done it for 15 seasons. I got 3 minutes left here, Jason. I wanted, as I said at the top of this conversation, to have you say a word, if you will, about your ongoing activism when it comes to gun violence.
Oh, wow. Well, I appreciate the opportunity. I mean, I spend a lot of time working with the Brady campaign, Everytown, Moms Demand Action. And the thing that I come from Virginia. I'm born and raised in Virginia Beach. My dad was a Navy veteran. Everybody I grew up with was in the military, very used to weapons. Everybody had a gun in their house. And the thing that I'm looking for and pushing for in this conversation about guns, because the gun violence it disproportionately impacts Black and brown communities.
No question.
And there's now data to back up. You can break down the conspiracy backing that up, because 5% of gun dealers provide 90% of the guns that have been found in crimes. So if you're wondering if there's conspiracy, when there's only 5% of the people, and we know of the gun dealers, and we know who they are, sending 90% of the guns that do crime in the general world, but especially in Black and brown communities, we know who the people are. We know what's going on. We should be dealing with that. But why aren't we dealing with that? Because there's money, big money behind it and breaking it down and stymieing that. And what I'm looking for is all responsible gun owners to get in the game. Like I said, I come from a town where everybody I knew was used to dealing with guns, but they're responsible with them. Yeah. Are you storing your gun safely? Good, because 75% of school shooters who are teens got that gun from an unsecured gun in their house or their friend's house. So you locking up your gun is going to help the rest of us. So there's so many different aspects of that are not partisan, that are just common sense. And so I'm calling on all responsible gun owners to get in the game and be part of the solution, because right now, sitting on your hands because you're afraid somebody's going to take away your guns, when more and more gun owners are at Brady Campaign, are at Everytown, you need to be in the fight and controlling the situation. Because if you're trying to defend your family, the best way to do that is to make sure that the guns don't end up in the hands of people who are going to do damage to you and yours.
Yeah, I got a quick 30 seconds here. How did this? What animated this work for you to begin with?
It's a slow burn. I have a cousin who was a victim of gun violence, and his murder was never found. But the biggest driving force is I'm a dad.
Yeah.
And all those pieces you think of as separate. Oh, he was involved. He was involved in a shooting, and the police tried to say there was drug activity involved, even though he was not involved in that activity at all. He was a straight student, blah blah blah. But I'm school shootings. So you see these things, and you think of them as separate until you start to realize it's gun violence as one thing. And there's a few laws, a handful of laws could make a massive difference in the number of suicides, the number of school shootings, and the amount of gun violence happening in our country. But we need to have the will, because they've got the money.
He's representing on stage, on the set, and off. He is Jason George. Dr. Ben Warren on the long-running series Grey's Anatomy, now in their 22nd season. I ain't mad at him, Shonda, and nobody else involved in that project. Jason, good to have you on. Congrats, man. We'll do it again sometime down the road, I hope.
Appreciate you, Tavis, man. It was a good time. It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate you. Pleasure's all mine. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News.